with me. Yes, I've missed you too. Friends and foes, good to have you back with me again. Now, I know some of you are reading the title of this video and you're saying, wow, Charlie's going to tell us about this horrible surprise he got on a date that he went on, a blind date. And he had this big surprise at the end. No. I don't think I would tell you about that if that actually happened. I mean, we're friends, but some things are better left unsaid. This is about something else. This is another one of my ARSE series where I put the word, which is a really dubious translation, in front of my ARSE. Okay, so I've had several videos like this, and I chose my ARSE because that's when the translation period started in the 1500s. They were using words like my ARSE to describe parts of the body that we call something else today. But again, I put the dubious translation word to precede my ARSE. So I've had videos titled In My ARSE, Saved My ARSE. I just did Sin My ARSE a couple of days ago. So tonight it's Woman My ARSE. And again, this is not about a blind date that went bad. No, this is about a dubious translation of a rather important verse, which we've been mistaking really since our first weeks in Sunday school. And it's caused a lot of problems. I'm talking about Matthew 5:28, where Jesus says, anyone who looks upon a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Okay, now we've all been taught to think that this is talking about all women. It's not. It's talking about married women. It's not a condemnation of normal sexual arousal in men. No, it's talking about lusting after other men's wives. Now I'm going to prove that to you real quick. Stand by. Okay, so this is Matthew 5:28 and the interlinear version, which I use at BibleHub.com. And if you're not familiar with an interlinear, it shows the transliteration of the original Koine or the Hebrew, also the original language and the English translation, the literal English translation. And here the literal English translation are the red words. So this is Matthew 5:28, part of the Sermon on the Mount. And once again, we've been taught, because of a poor translation, we've been taught to think that Jesus is talking about men looking at any kind of a woman and becoming excited at what he's seeing. Not what he's talking about. Let me show you here. Reading from the red, I, however, say to you that everyone looking upon a woman in order to lust after her already has committed adultery with her in the heart of him. So this makes it sound like if God forbid, I see an attractive woman and I look at her and I have a dirty thought, my goodness, I've just committed adultery. No. This is a case of Calvin-retarded and Lutholatrous translators trying to out-holy the biblical speaker, in this case, Jesus himself. This word here, which gets translated a woman, even by the modern translations for some silly reason. Well, I have my own theory. This word here, Gynaika, that's a transliteration, Gynaika. The root of that word is where we get gynecologist, gynecology. So it's the Koine Greek transliteration Gynaika, 1135. It's a noun. And we're going to go to it, have a look here. And you will see in the Englishman's Concordance here that every place in Matthew except 5:28, this word is translated wife. I'm going to scroll down here. You'll see everywhere in Matthew, beginning in Matthew chapter 1, verse 20, marry as your wife. This is the same word that in 528, for some reason, is translated a woman. But everywhere in Matthew, you'll see as I'm scrolling down here, if you look at the screen, you'll see everywhere this word geneica, G1135, is translated wife. Okay. Even, let's say, even in the verses right next door to it, here, this is Matthew 5:31. The same word, the same spelling, Matthew 5:32. But look at 5:28, it's translated a woman. In 5:31, the same word is talking about divorcing his wife. Yeah, let's have a look. The same word, geneica, here. Translated wife. Why then is it translated a woman in Matthew 5:28? All right, let me stop this here. It's translated a woman because the translators wanted to out holy Jesus. That's the bottom line. When you're not moving in the gifts of the Spirit, you can either out nice people or you can out holy them. Well, the Calvitards and the Lutholaters, who translated the Koine Greek in the 1500s into the vernaculars of Europe, would not have known the Holy Ghost from the ghost of Christmas past. So, to compensate for that rather glaring lack of, shall we say, Christian bona fides, these people tried to out holy with their translation. And we saw that in that video I did a couple days ago called Sin, My Arse, where words that should have been translated disobedience and rebellion were translated sin, to make you think that the Bible is basically obsessed with personal morality. And this here is another case in point. It's translating a woman when it should be talking about a wife, because Jesus is not condemning men looking at attractive women and being normally aroused by them. No, what he's condemning is covetousness. He doesn't want you coveting somebody else's wife. That's what he's talking about. That's the sin. That's the 10th commandment. Thou shalt not covet. So he's saying, if you look upon somebody else's wife with lust, then you've committed adultery in your heart. He's not saying, if you look upon an attractive woman and you say, wow, that's an attractive woman, he's not saying you've committed adultery. My God, you know how much trouble, how much guilt this mistranslation of this verse has caused over the centuries? To this day, we got sinless perfection cults out here condemning men for having looked a second too long an attractive woman. Again, how does a single man commit adultery with a single woman by looking at her too long? Can't happen. So it's a wife, okay? Jesus is saying, don't look at other men's wives in that way. I'm not saying that he's saying, yeah, go ahead and ogle everybody else. No, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying he's not condemning a normal, natural male response to an attractive woman. That is the translators trying to out holy Jesus. All right, so I'm glad I cleared that up for you. Woman, my arse. No, wife. That's what he's. Don't look upon another man's wife with lust. Quite a difference, wouldn't you say? All right, so I hope that helps somebody out there, somebody struggling with guilt about this. We have so many sinless perfection cults out there. People are always trying to out holy you, especially those, again, who wouldn't know the Holy Ghost from the ghost of Christmas yet to come, okay? These are the people who will either try to out nice you or out holy you. Don't let them do this with Matthew 5:28. So there'll be more, you can be sure, in the My ARSE series. Stick around and have a good night.